Hello, I'm Josée Couture. Welcome to Josée Couture Real Estate TV, your real estate home and garden channel. So you've saved your money diligently to buy a condominium, you're ready to start to look at units. You've heard the term status certificate before, but you don't really know what it means or why you need one. So this month, I am happy to welcome our guest, Mitch Korman from Korman and Company, who will talk to us about status certificates and why you need one. So Mitch, welcome and thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell us, what is a status certificate?
Well, a status certificate is something that's mandated by the Condominium Act. And basically, you pay a fee to the condominium corporation and they send you a certificate which outlines the overall health of the building itself. So there's a lot of questions and answers that are on it, but it allows buyers to understand what's going on in that condominium corporation.
And there is a part that pertains to the actual unit itself.
Exactly, but the part that pertains to the actual unit is very, very small. It's really about whether or not there's arrears of common expenses or if anything's been done to that unit which is contravening the rules or regulations of the condo corporation. The rest of the status certificate is all about the health of the whole building.
So Mitch, tell our buyers, where do they get a status certificate, how much does it cost, and who orders it?
Well, typically that's a responsibility of the selling agent. So what you'll find is most of the good selling agents have pre-ordered a status certificate, so they have it readily available to any buyer that wants to look at it. But quite often some agents don't pre-order it, and your agreement of purchase and sale might be conditional on obtaining and reviewing a status certificate. In that case, usually it's the seller's agent or the seller themselves that buy the status certificate. They're available, anyone can buy one for $100, but they have the relationship with the condominium corporation, the management of that building, so it's probably easier for them to just order it and then provide it to any interested buyer that wants to see it.
So Mitch, who does the review for the status certificate for the buyer?
Well, we always recommend that a law firm or a lawyer review a status certificate. There's information in there that is crucial to the health of that building. And we, in my firm, we have a team of dedicated people that all they do all day long is review status certificates. Now these people are trained to spot the red flags that might exist in the health of a condominium corporation.
And approximately how much does it cost for a buyer to have the certificate reviewed by a solicitor?
Well, our fee is $150. And it's, relatively speaking, I feel very, very inexpensive because a status certificate itself can consist of 400 pages that needs to be reviewed because there's a lot of things in the status certificate and all the attachments that go with it.
As an experienced realtor, I've sold a number of condominiums and I've gone through a number of those documents. Can you tell the buyers what they can expect to find in a status certificate package?
Well, the status certificate itself is usually only 2 or 3 pages long, and it has question and answers of the health of the condominium corporation. But you really have to delve into the attachments that are attached to that status certificate. Things like the declaration, the bylaws, the rules, those are the things that create the condominium corporation and how you're expected to live amongst your neighbors. But things like the financial statements and the budget and how their board of directors is financially being responsible to the unit owners, that's something that's also in that status certificate, and that's something that we have to look at very closely. Lastly, the notice of future funding of the reserve fund, because every condominium corporation in the province of Ontario has to have a reserve fund because they put money aside so that things will fail over years of a building, and you have to have money aside to fix the roof, the parking garage, all the common elements of the condominium corporation. That's a really important item also, and we have to look at that and make sure that the condominium corporation is putting aside enough money to be able to fix those things as they need to be done.
And I guess I'd like to ask, is that, for instance, when there could be a special assessment if there's not enough money in the reserve fund to do a major repair?
Exactly.
Or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
If they're not following the reserve fund study, the condominium corporation is not following the study, and that study, keep in mind, these studies are done by engineering firms that are separate and apart from the condominium corporation. So they will dissect the whole building and decide how much money has to be put aside. If the condominium corporation board of directors isn't following that, that ultimately could end up in a special assessment, which means they have repairs to do and they haven't put enough money aside, so then they do a special assessment of all the unit owners. Everybody has to write a check and pay for whatever that repair that needs to be done.
So in terms of special assessment, is this something that is common, that happens a lot in condominiums?
It's a very rare occurrence, and sometimes they happen because things have failed sooner than was anticipated. So let's say, for example, a roof. The lifespan of the roof, the inspectors said it should last 30 years and it only lasts 25 years. So at the year 25, you're having to replace that roof a lot sooner than you anticipated. That could result in a special assessment. But the more serious occasions, and these are even more rare, is if there's really fundamental mismanagement of the condominium corporation on the part of the board of directors. If the reserve fund study says you have to put X number of dollars aside and they chose to put Y aside, that would be a bad situation, and that's what we're looking for.
But it's not that common.
Very, very seldomly do we have special assessments.
So I know that a corporation has 10 calendar days to provide a status certificate. When it's available from the seller's side, it's great, but if it's not available, when is the best time for a buyer to do the review in the current market?
It's very challenging in this market because hopefully the seller's agent did order the status certificate ahead of time so that everybody can review it before offers are being presented. If it's not, then you really want to have your offer conditional on reviewing that status certificate. But even better, in the market that we're in, there are so many multiple offers on every different condo out there. So if you can reach out to someone like us who has a complete full-time staff working on status certificate reviews and a database of every condominium in the City of Toronto, chances are we've reviewed a status certificate for that building sometime in the recent past. So we might be able to react with enough information to be able to let a buyer have the upper hand on buying in that building.
So Mitch, you gave us a lot of information about status certificate, but to wrap up this video, can you give us one golden nugget about status certificate that maybe the buyers don't know about?
Well, if I was buying a condominium today, I would be reviewing a status certificate as early as I can in the process, because I want to make an informed decision on the health of that building and whether or not I should be buying in that building. So I'd be looking at whatever was available to me for that unit, or even looking at previous status certificates so I could see what's going on with that building long ahead of time. That way, there's no panic if a great unit comes up and I really want to buy it. I'm confident already in that building, so I would be confident in making an offer on that unit.
That's great. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mitch. I really appreciate you being here.
It's
you.
my pleasure.
Thank you. For more information about this topic, Toronto real estate or neighborhood, or if you're looking to buy or sell a house, I'm just a click or a call away. To follow along with us, please click subscribe at the end of our video, and if you like our video, please click like and share. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next month.